I guess I don't realize how to count backwards from 20 because we looked up and we were on the air. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to start it again. But from 20 backwards, welcome to Off the Record with Randall, with Howie Chaney. Energy good tonight, Howie?
I hope so. I've been told and I've read where I need to have more energy, so we'll see what happens tonight.
Yeah, I got a comment. You needed more energy. I was like, yeah, you come work about our jobs and then have more energy. Well, welcome everybody. Let's quickly get through the hellos, and we're going to do a few minutes of NFL real fast, get through some stuff with the NFL, and then we are immediately going into a review of AEW's All Out. Howie, we made an audible at the last second. We said if we started on All Out, we'd never get to any NFL. And I feel like that was a good call.
Yeah, absolutely, because we talked about it probably for a good 30, 45 minutes on the phone last night. And so, yeah, that is a great call because, like you said, we could probably go 2 hours and get through the first 3 matches and still have about 4 more matches to go. So let's get this NFL started. First game Thursday night, talk about it real quick, and then move on to the All Out and speak on that as quick as possible.
We will, but let's start with that Thursday night. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, you are a season ticket holder to the Atlanta Falcons. You have been for multiple decades. $582 for a seat for Tampa, Dallas. Ridiculous, probably beyond me at that point.
Oh yeah, me as well. That's the when Tampa Bay comes in, that's the highest price ticket that we have is the Tampa Bay because of being the defending Super Bowl champions. Everything is double around there. Parking, the first time I went and parked in front of the stadium, the Georgia Dome, it was around $30 or $40 to park. But then when the defending champs at that time, which was Tampa Bay Buccaneers, came to town, the price for parking nearly doubled.
So you started with the Bucks, the world champion, and now you're to the Bucks as world champion.
We're back with the Bucks again, and like I said, the parking used to be like $30 or $40 there across the road from the Dome, but when the champs comes in, it's up to like $80 to $90 because they know everybody wants to see the champs.
Well, just to let everybody know, we'll never tell them how we park, ever, ever. Howie Chaney, do not spill that on this show. So we'll keep that one.
You and Coach Benefield came real close to spilling it that time, giving me a hard time about getting in and out of Atlanta, but nothing was actually said.
We did not. We did not give away any secrets. All right, that's a great game. Dak Prescott coming back off a big injury. And if you want a more extensive breakout, turn into the 3 hours tonight. We're going to go deep into each game. But for us, we're just going to touch them real fast. I think that's the storyline is Dak coming back off an injury versus Tom Brady and the Bucks. So it's a great game to start with. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. And, I was thinking about that game earlier today, and I had mixed emotions on who I would pick as far as who would win because you got Tampa Bay ring ceremony, unveiling of the championship banner and all that stuff. Then you got Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott playing his first game in nearly a year after that horrific injury he had last year. So I really don't know who I would pick, but I'm giving Tampa Bay the home field advantage, and I think they will win.
Yeah, me too. And I'll go into more again on 3 hours. So then we'll start with Sunday, 1 o'clock. Our Atlanta Falcons take on the Philadelphia Eagle and Jalen Hurts, your Alabama boy. So give me your 30-second overview of that game.
Go Jalen Hurts, but let the good guys win at the end.
Would your pick be the Falcons?
They are the good guys.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to go with the bad guys. I'm going to pick the Eagles to win that game.
Let me make a note real quick. -1 ticket to future Falcon games for Randall.
Okay. If you're going to do that every week, I pick against them. I ain't been to go for a few years. They have not impressed me in the preseason. I think I picked them to win that game when you and Jamon actually went through it. And I'm probably the opposite. Buffalo hosts the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers with 3 new starters in the offensive line. Najee Harris, Ben Roethlisberger, 39 years old. To me, the Bills are the closest to the Chiefs, and I'm going to pick the Bills here.
Yeah, I'm picking the Bills too. Steelers lost a lot. Still got a lot coming back, though. You can't count Big Ben out, but Buffalo being at home, you got to go with Buffalo.
So this game was announced before the season, before the trade happened. But week 1, Zach Wilson versus Sam Darnold, the Jets at the Panthers. I actually think Sam Darnold and the Panthers get it done. I think the Panthers are a better football team than the Jets.
Oh yeah, I think Panthers will win. They're at home, not only because they're at home, but when you got McCaffrey in the backfield there, it's going to be hard to contain him.
McCaffrey coming off of multiple injuries last year. So,
yeah, absolutely.
You can tell, not sponsored, should be, Colonel, we had dinner from you. All right. I think this is a good game. The Minnesota Vikings travels to the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow coming off a horrific injury. I kind of like the Bengals to win this game.
Joe Burrows, he showed a lot before he got hurt last year, but I got to go with Minnesota. You got that running back up there, wasn't Dalvin Cook, I think it is.
Yes.
He's going to be hard to handle. I got to go with Minnesota on this one.
Well, everybody's got to go with a few upsets, so I'm gonna go with the Bengals here. Next game we'll talk about. I think this is interesting. How much we see Trey Lance play as the 49ers visits the Lions, and from what coach? And we're both familiar with Shanahan. We had him at 3 years as an offensive coordinator, maybe 4. I never saw him rotate quarterbacks, but his claim is he may rotate quarterbacks in this game. How much do you expect to see Trey Lance, and who do you like to win this game?
I'm a believer if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. And so and being in the professional level, I don't know how that's going to work out. But I'm going to say here and tell you, be honest about it, I have no idea who Detroit's starting quarterback is.
Jared Goff.
I don't know who Detroit's starting quarterback is, so I'll go with the 49ers.
The 49ers. I mean, for the Rams. So
yeah, I mean, he did good. He did good with the Rams, but he had a lot of help around.
He's gone too.
Yeah, he had a lot of help around him with the Rams. I don't think he's got that type of help with the Lions.
No, yes, Hawkinson and Swift, and the receivers outside are just. I don't even know who some of them are. Truly.
Right.
I'm going to pick the Niners to get it done. I think that Jimmy G goes most of the way. I think until they struggle, we see Jimmy G. But I do think this is Trey Lance's football team sooner than later. Another interesting game. I mean, there's a ton of them this week. Trevor Lawrence makes his debut as the starting quarterback of the Jacksonville AEW Fighting Jaguars against the Houston minus, I was trying to come up with a way to call it, the Houston non-Watsons, I guess,
right.
Texans. I expect Tyrod Taylor to start the game. I think Trevor Lawrence and the Jags gets it done in week 1. If they insist on not playing Deshaun Watson, which is fine, then they might be 0-16.
I'm going with the Texans on this one because a rookie coming in there, I don't care who it is, going against a pretty decent, I know J.J. Watt, less Texans defense, but they still got a pretty good defense. That Romeo Crennel, if I'm mistaken, he's still defense coordinator there, so he's going to throw everything and everything plus the kitchen sink at Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. So I'm going with Texans in a low-scoring game, though, maybe a 6-3, 9-3 game, something like that.
I'm standing by my 0 for 16 to the Texans until they win one. So when they win one, I'll start picking them. Until they do, I'll pick against them every week. The Seattle Seahawks, a team that's in kind of a state of flux, I feel like. They're not the Seahawks of a few years ago. Visits the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm not sure if the Colts know if it's Carson Wentz or if it's Jacob Eason. I'm gonna pick the Seahawks on the road. If the Colts know which quarterback it is, I'm tempted to pick the Colts, but I'm gonna go with the Seahawks.
I'm going Seahawks as well. Like I said, it's another could be another two-headed quarterback, kind of like in San Francisco. And if you got two, I just feel like you don't even have one. And so yeah, I'm going with the Seahawks as well. I mean, it's hard to go against Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and I think this is a great game. The Arizona Cardinals play the Tennessee Titans at Nashville. I'll take the Titans, but I think that's a good football game.
Yeah, it'll be a good game. You got you got Derrick Henry, Julio Jones for the Titans. They're loaded on the offensive side, but they lost their offensive guru coming to Atlanta. So you don't know how the play calling is going to go. Yeah, if you got Derrick Henry back there, you want to run the ball 30, 40, 50 times a game. But, coordinators don't want to do that all the time. They want that deep ball and stuff like that, especially if you got Jones and Brown on both sides running deep routes. So
if I tell you A.J. Green's healthy, who do you like better, Hopkins and a healthy A.J. Green or Brown and Julio?
I actually like Hopkins and Green, to be honest.
If he's healthy. We just don't know if he's healthy.
Nothing against Julio. I loved Julio. Cheered for Julio. Watched him put up massive numbers in Atlanta, but I also saw him drop some of the easiest passes that I could have caught.
Future Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
The Chargers and second-year quarterback Justin Herbert or Hubert or whatever they want to call him this year visits the Redskins. My sleeper Super Bowl pick. I'm going to go ahead with the Skins, get it done in week 1 at home.
I'm trying to find that game. I'm totally lost. Chargers, Washington. Okay. You're throwing up Redskins. It threw me there for a second. They're the football team.
I'm sorry.
Get with it, man. Get with it, man.
Washington football team.
Washington football team's got the best defense in the NFL by far. And we've talked about it in the past. The only thing they're missing is a stud quarterback. So I'm going to say the Washington football team wins this one.
I think this is one of those games when you sat down week 1, you went, this could be good. The Cleveland Browns, with a lot to prove, going to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, this is a tone setter. You don't want it this early in the season, but this is a tone setter for the season for the Cleveland Browns.
And if the Browns are going to do what the Browns want to do, they need to go in there. If they don't win, they need to play for play with the Chiefs. They can't get blown out by 40.
Yeah, so if it's a 40-point game, Cleveland is going downhill quick. So, but I'm still going to pick Kansas City to win this one.
I'm going to too, but I think it's a decent football game. Then the Saban Bowl, Miami visits New England, Tua versus Mac Jones.
I'm really surprised. I thought Mac Jones would I thought he would be starting his second or third game when they came in on Thursday night in Atlanta. But all of a sudden, it's his job, and there's nobody behind him, it looks like. So, it's amazing. They're saying Tua is looking a lot better this year than he did last year. But I'm going with Miami on this one because Miami's got way more offense weapons than what they have in New England.
I don't pick against Bill Belichick at home, so I'll go with Belichick and the Patriots. Boy, we're disagreeing a lot today. Next game, the Green Bay Packers visit Satan at Ford.
I like that, yeah. Aaron Rodgers, Saints, they're still not sure who their starting quarterback's going to be
It's Jameis, they announced.
Well, no, I understand. Week 1 he is, but week 2 it could be Taysom Hill. You don't know.
So
I'm going with Aaron Rodgers.
In the 3 R's, I'm going to suggest that you play Jameis Winston in daily fantasy. I think he may have 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, but you got to eat 3 interceptions too. So I think he has a good day, but I also think he turns it over to the Packers. So give me Aaron Rodgers with something to prove over Jameis Winston with butter from crab legs on his Satan wandering hands over, Alvin Kamara, I love you, buddy. But no, I'll never pick the Saints hard.
Jameis Winston, you got to realize his last pass with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was a touchdown pass, even though it was a pick 6 that the Falcons made, but it was a touchdown pass.
The next game, the Denver Broncos visits the New York Giants. One of these teams, look, if there's 2 teams that try to add this offseason to give their quarterbacks a chance, it's these 2 teams. I think Daniel Jones has as good weapons around him as anybody. I like, Kenny Golladay there now. I really like that the Giants are going to make a step forward. So I'm going to take the Giants at home.
Yeah, I'm going with the Giants too. Barkley coming back for what has been out at least a year with that injury and everything.
I think week 1 last year.
Yeah, so I'm taking the Giants as well.
Sunday Night Football, a real stinker in my opinion. A Justinless Fields. Andy Dalton starts for Chicago against the Rams in the debut of Matthew Stafford. If that was Fields versus Stafford, I'm more interested in this game. As it is, if they're starting Andy Dalton on the road in L.A., give me the Rams.
Yeah, I got the Rams too. I mean, Aaron Donald is going to go wild on the Bears offensive line.
The Baltimore Ravens and my fantasy quarterback, Lamar Jackson, visits the Las Vegas Raiders. I'll take the Ravens.
Some people call the Raiders the Alabama Crimson Tide of the West, but
they don't win enough.
Yeah, well, they got enough players. They should be. I'm going with the Ravens as well. Lamar Jackson's a highlight film.
All right. Well, we knew we could force in some NFL if we did it this way. We got through it. Now let's get to the second topic tonight. Sunday was the yearly All Elite, All Out. And All Out comes as close to a Starrcade, WrestleMania. I think AEW wants this to be their premier event during the year. Very interesting pay-per-view. Shocked, and we'll get to each one of them, shocked by the number of debuts with the big New York City show just ahead. But let's start, and these may not be in the order that they appeared on the show, Howie, but they were in the order that CBS reported them. So in the first, in the 21 person female casino battle royale, the Joker and the wild card debuting is Ruby Soho, formerly known as Ruby Riot in the WWE. I thought there was a lot of great moments in this match. I thought they told a lot of stories. The Penelope working with the bunny, Jade Cardell working with what's the big, oh God, what, Naya, not Naya, the Indian girl, the one that was the first champ.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Nyla Rose.
Nyla Rose, working together, then turning against each other. You had a bunch of a little storyline with legit Layla Hurst. Bunch of stuff. I mean, it was a well-booked battle royal. It was as well-booked as one of the WWE's Royal Rumbles, in my opinion. But in the end, the debuting Ruby Soho wins it and gets a shot at Dr. Britt Baker, D.M. I got to do that backwards, D.M.D. What'd you think of it?
You just liked it because Anna Jay made her debut back after being out
Anna
for
Jay's
8 months.
back, baby.
But yeah, like you said, there's a lot of storylines.
You got some competition, baby.
No, you don't, Jungle Boy. I've seen them. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I was surprised that Ruby Soho won that, being the Joker, because all the other casino battle royals, the Joker number 21 has never won that I can remember, which has only been 2 or 3 of them that's taken place, but still. But it is a lot of great, like you said, a lot of stories told. It was a great match overall. It wasn't too clustered. You didn't have all of them in there at one time. And to me, battle royals and Royal Rumbles, that's what kills it for me, is because you get so many people in there at one time, you can't see what's going on. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Thunder Rosa, I really thought she had a chance to win it. And well, it came down between her and Ruby Soho. And but anyway, I thought when it came down to them two, I thought Thunder Rosa would win. But she put a good showing on, and I'm looking forward to seeing Thunder Rosa keep on wrestling.
I actually thought Thunder Rosa was going to win the thing too, but it makes sense that they're going to throw Ruby Riot or Ruby Soho. Tony Khan done the same thing and beat himself up over it. It takes a minute to get used to these names, but Ruby Soho will get. And the thing about it, they don't have to make it an immediate shot.
No,
they can make it 6 months down the road. They can do, but it was a very, very big pop for Ruby Soho.
It was when her music played. It wasn't the biggest pop of the night, but it was a very, very big pop, and everybody was excited. They knew it was going to happen, but like I said, she came out, she looked good, put on, did some great moves and everything. So it was a good match overall.
Truly a unique individual. I mean, she's different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then in the next match was the visiting from New Japan Pro Wrestling, Kojima and Jon Moxley. Moxley over Kojima was a storyline, a very physical match. Howie, was that not a physical war?
It was a physical match, very physical. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't care a whole lot about it. You're probably going to shoot me for that, but I didn't care a whole lot about it. I mean, the match was okay, very physical. They laid some chops into each other. I know that. I mean,
I know. And sometimes these matches, unless you've been a New Japan guy or an All Japan guy, you don't get them. That was equivalent of Kojima leaving at All Japan and going to Japan. It's about like, say, CM Punk signing with AEW. So for him to appear as part of the New Japan, it was a big deal. But the bigger deal was Minoru Suzuki showed up at the end of the match, who is maybe the biggest legend in Japan, and actually put Moxley under a little bit with a Gotch pile driver. You got to know how big Suzuki is. One, for them to have him in that spot, and two, for him to clearly get over on Moxley.
Yeah, they're building something up. That's going to be the next pay-per-view match that they have. Them two are going to go at it, and we just saw this last match with Moxley was brutal. Wait till that one takes place.
Oh, it's going to be unreal. Now, I heard some other people criticizing that match, but I think it was a match. I think that was a match for a lot of people who wanted to see this and never had gotten to see it.
Right.
So I was very happy with the match. I think I'm kind of the expert to speak on it. It's exactly what you thought it would be. Next, this match moved way down the card as we predicted. There was a couple of things. One, it was the debut of the former Big Show, Paul Wright. Also, it came out that if it ran long, that they had the ability to stuff this match and not even let it be seen. So the Big Show rather quickly dispatches of QT Marshall. Not a lot to see there other than what you expected.
No, Big Show Paul White came out, did what he was supposed to have done, just dominate, because he's so much bigger than anybody and everybody in AEW. He came out, dominated QT Marshall, and there's no favors done on that one there. It was a quick 1, 2, 3.
All right. Moving on. Let's go Well, the way they laid it out, the next match would have been Chris Jericho versus MJF, which could be the main event of any other pay-per-view.
There's no could be. It would have been the main event of any other pay-per-view.
Jericho, and I did like, and now is where we'll start expanding everybody. Our buddy, who will never, ever say anything bad about, I'm not even sure we're doing a podcast if it's not for old JC and Brian Last, but, you know, he hates AEW, but we respect Jim Cornette like you wouldn't believe. But Jim Cornette would have either loved or hated the finish of this match. It was straight out of the Dusty Rhodes book. So battle going on, good match going on, been going approximately 15, 20 minutes. Most of the match had been dominated by Jericho. So cleanly, MJF pins Jericho in the middle of the ring. But let me give us some backstory. So Wardlow comes out. Jake, I want to call him Swag. Hager comes out. They're fighting. The referees are trying to break them up. MJF pins Jericho 1, 2, 3, but on 3, his leg goes up on the rope. For a minute, you think, okay, that was the screw job we're looking for. This way he can retire. But, you know, throughout this match, I kept thinking the match is playing out for Jericho to retire. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought he was getting ready to get his vocal pops ready to start broadcasting, you know, being the replacement for JR. And but it was a great match from the start to finish. I like the way it ended. JC probably won't, but I like the way it ended, and it was you know, very entertaining.
All right, so we brought it up to that point. The referee that was breaking up the fight between Wardlow and Jake Hager enters the ring, talks to her female. I still want to call her Girl Helpner. Because that's what she was on the indie. But talks to the referee, explains what just happened. The ref then restarts the match. And rather quickly, Chris Jericho pins MJF to save his career. Did you like the match? I thought you pretty well kind of described a finish like that earlier in the week.
I did. I mean, you can't let Jericho's fixing to hang it up. You know, he's ready to tour with Fozzy. I didn't like his entrance. I didn't like the guitar solo. It was too distorted on my end. But anyway, you know, he's getting ready to travel with Fozzy, do his music career and all that, do the broadcast. I don't mind him doing that. But when they said would never wrestle in AEW again, I knew that he couldn't.
Japan bound like I did.
No, I knew that they couldn't let him lose that. But I thought he might put MJF over somehow, and this way it's kind of a little bit of best of both worlds type deal. By him putting MJF in the walls of Jericho there and making him basically tap out.
Right. He went for the schoolboy. The schoolboy kicks out, puts him in the Jericho, walls of Jericho, and he tried to step back and get it even into a single leg Jericho. But still yet, Jericho wins, saves his career. What do you think? What do you think that Jericho's career holds now?
I think he's got so many people that he would like to wrestle against before he's done out of the WWE, where he can do what he wants to, and with a Bryan Danielson, with a Adam Cole, with a CM Punk, with you know, possibly a Sting as well. You know, he hasn't been able to wrestle a whole lot lately because he had that elbow, that fractured, dislocated elbow. So he's been kind of limited on some of the stuff he can do. But I think he's wanting to make one more good push at being the AEW World Champion.
All right, a little known trivia here. Do you know he won, I think, 8 or 9 world championships, and he's only won it as a babyface once? Could that be his last moment? Maybe a little short babyface run for Jericho with the title, call it a career, and head to the house.
Yeah, I think that could be it. Like, very good possibility. The stable that he's got with them, they're
Yep.
all becoming baby faces, and so that could be in the direction they're headed in.
The stable, we had talked about possibly breaking it up if Jericho loses. I noticed at the end of it was a very strong moment for the stable. They were around Jericho, Hager, Pride and Powerful, Powerful and Pride, Santino and Ortiz. And of course, the superstar coming is Sammy Guevara in that group. And I think Jericho, I think his last mission in wrestling is to get Sammy Guevara over. However they do it, I think that's his legacy is to get Sammy Guevara over somehow.
And the only way he can do that is if he turns it on them and let Sammy,
Sammy
make a comeback.
Or Sammy turn on him.
No, I like my way better.
All right.
No, you're right. Something's got to happen where they turn against each other and put Sammy over. And the reason I said, make it where Jericho become the heel, and that way Sammy come in being a baby face, and maybe take over the stable.
I think Sammy's future is as a heel though. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Next match. Shock no.
Look like Randall stepped away for a second, so I'll kind of take over. I don't know where he left off at, but we got Miro over Eddie Kingston in the next match. We got Miro taking on Eddie Kingston, like I said. For the TNT Championship, it was a hard-fought match by both guys. You got the Miro coming into his own since he came into AEW. It started off kind of slow because of they didn't really know which direction he wanted to go in. He started out with Penelope Ford and them, kind of this video game type deal. So so
All right. Well, we stayed live. How we did, I don't know, Howie. That was just that 3-minute interruption was a pause thanks to StreamYard, your streaming network needs. Howie, are you back with me?
I'm here, man.
Man, you were sitting so still I couldn't see you. We were still on. It was just nothing streaming except darkness. Really wasn't nothing we could do about that one.
Well,
we were
I was
talking about
trying to
MJF.
take up the slack and everything. And
Have you been on the whole time?
I was, and then when you sent me the text, when I checked the text, it knocked me off.
Okay. Anyway, we're back on now. Let's finish this up. Sorry about that, folks. As soon as StreamYard come back on, I got back on. It was working perfectly.
Right.
The next match we were talking about, Miro over Eddie Kingston. Very physical, very, very physical. No Lana. Were you surprised, no Lana?
I was. I predicted that she would be there. I really thought she would. If nothing else, just to be a valet of sorts for Miro. But no Lana / CJ Perry. But overall, the match itself, Eddie Kingston's getting to become one of the best wrestlers there is. I like him. He don't look like a typical wrestler with all the muscles and all that. He kind of, just looks like an old country boy with a pot belly and don't care attitude.
Let's go back a little bit. Let's give a grade A through F for all the matches. What do you give the Casino Battle Royal?
I'd give it a B.
I'll give it a B too. Moxley, Kojima, I would give a C plus. What would you give it?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't care much about it. I'd have to give it a D.
Paul Wright over QT Marshall. That one's tough for me. I want to root for the QT and Paul Wright. I'm going to go D.
I'm going incomplete.
You didn't see it all then, huh?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. I don't want to give it an F, so I guess I can give it a D. Just
incomplete.
Great.
MJF, Chris Jericho, I'll give a B. How about you?
A.
An A?
Yeah. I'd give it an A.
I'd normally give it an A, but I'm about to give out a bunch of A's, and I didn't want to look like a mock. Eddie Kingston is a great on the mic. I mean, my buddy Fred just I hated this match, but I loved it. I think it went just about the right time. I think they gave you just enough. Someone needed to break Miro's level of invincibility. They damaged it, but he still comes out as the monster, the ultimate challenger, goes down. But you didn't kill Kingston. You gave him enough offense. I'm going to go, again, I'm going to go B on this match.
Yeah, I give it a high C, though. A C plus, I guess.
Okay. And just for the record, everything else, the rest of the way out, either an A minus or an A plus. So the next match, inside a steel cage. It went about 45 minutes. The Lucha Brothers over the Young Bucks. A title change. I think I even predicted that one in our show, in our pre-show. Ray Phoenix and Lucha and Penta win it in an amazing match. What was your favorite part of the match?
I kind of popped a little bit when they threw the shoe in and it had the thumbtacks on the bottom of it. I thought that was pretty cool.
I popped for that one too.
I liked it. And then, let's see, what was the other? There was one more thing I can't remember right offhand, but there's something else I popped for too.
The ripping of Penta's mask so you could see the blood and it was gory. Yeah. This was not a match. This was not a match you want your kid to see that doesn't understand the nature of pro wrestling. The shoe popped me. The fact that the Bucks dominated so much of the match, and Penta kept kicking out or Ray Phoenix kicked out. That I marked out for that, man. That was almost Undertaker marking out for me.
I liked the crossbody off the top of the ring. That was the other thing. I didn't really pop for it, but I really liked it. It was pretty cool.
Even though Penta got in the middle of it to make sure Ray was safe, they had all three catching him down at the bottom. But that's a pretty high crossbody coming off the top of that cage. After they went 40 minutes and were bleeding like stuck hogs, and then Nick Jackson takes the pin after got 49,337 high spots.
Yeah, and Penta running across the top of the cage, I've never saw that before. That was pretty cool.
It was. Does it make sense for the Young Bucks to lose the title, but yet the Elite get stronger here in a little bit? They don't need the titles. They don't need the titles to be strong.
No, they don't. They got enough people. They got enough charisma to be strong without the titles. They're. I didn't care much about them with the titles. It wasn't like I didn't want to see them. It's just I thought some of the stuff was kind of childish being a champion. Now, without being the champion, this stuff is probably going to pop me a little bit more because some reason I feel like a champion ought to act a certain way, and they wasn't doing that.
So, did this match earn some of Howie's respect for the Young Bucks?
When they basically did the job for them, yeah, it did. Because I really didn't think that they would lose it and lose it clean like they did.
Yeah. And the Lucha Brothers now, I think they can go out have a bunch of feuds with some different people that I've been thinking, they can feud. First off, again, FTR gets involved. Pride and Powerful would be a logical next person to hold the AEW Tag Team Championship. You can also maybe bring a team of Jericho and Guevara into it. I think that would be interesting. Also, somewhere along the way, the Jurassic Express has got to win something. Also, I think Private Party is a team that was the original hot team in AEW that's kind of died. Some of the new has run off of Private Party. I would think a babyface Lucha Brothers feuding with a heel Private Party would get them both over again, being Mark Quinn and the guys from Private Party. What do you think?
Yeah, and the one tag team you didn't mention that first came, when you talk about who they could feud with, that first came to mind, they're not really on Dynamite and Rampage yet, but the Young Blondes.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great match.
And they're positioning them to be part of the future.
Yeah, they're getting there. It's just they're not there yet, but this could be something that'll help them get to that next level.
They've had them like as Team 5, and they got them up a little bit high into the rankings, and they immediately lose. Yeah, I'd love to see that. What do you give that match?
Yeah, I'd give it a B+. I'm not going with an A on that one, but it's a B+. I liked it. It was really good.
I'm going to give it an A-, and the only reason I'm giving it an A-, I think that went long. And I think you could see at the end of it, the refs are panicking to get everybody out of it. The next match, Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D, over Kris Statlander. Pretty good. Got an Orange Cassidy involved. Great match. Tony Khan said that's the Dr. Britt Baker's best match, but he also said that was Kris Statlander's best match. And if you're going to have your best match, both of them at the same time, it's got to be at the biggest show of the year. I thought Kris Statlander stood up as a credible opponent.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't. It wasn't like, oh, she can't win. She gave the sense of reality to it. I really like this match. Told a good story. I thought if we were going to get Adam Cole, it might come somewhere in the middle of this, but we didn't get Adam Cole in the middle of this. But we might later. So before we go any too farther, what
Be
did you think
patient.
of this match?
As the CM Punk said the other day, be patient.
Be patient. Be patient.
I saw two things in this match that really surprised me.
Go ahead.
One of them was Orange Cassidy just going ballistic when Statlander nearly got counted out, just taking his glasses off and screaming and yelling and all that. That's something you never see Cassidy doing. And the other one was Statlander just overpowering Dr. Britt Baker by, doing that suplex off the top. She wasn't ready for it, but Statlander was, and she just overpowered her and made her say it's time to do it, and we're going to do it now. And but Statlander is, she's a future star.
Yes. And not far from it. She's still young. Did you like the finish that she used everything she had and finally had to go to the mandible claw to put her away? It wasn't like they didn't just kill her character and let her go away fast.
That's why I say she's going to be a future star, because it took a lot to put her out and to get the count on her. So that's putting somebody over right there.
Yes. All right. What would you give that match?
It's a B plus. I liked it. It's B plus.
I want to go higher, but I guess I'm going to go B plus too. It could be. You could have said an A minus, but it's right there. What did you think of Rebel and Jamie Hayter's involved in it?
It was kind of interesting by what they didn't do. Not by what they done, but what they didn't do. They didn't really give the help that you'd kind of expect.
No, they didn't. That's a good point.
You usually see the quote unquote crutch / cane that,
The heater.
Reba / Rebel walks around with. But I guess she couldn't do that after being in the Casino Battle Royal. And they just wasn't. I was expecting something different out of that. And, that's pretty much a clean win by the good doctor there.
Yeah. The next match, just because we need the championship match to come last. To me, the headliner, the main event, the over-the-top screaming and yelling again, CM Punk over Darby Allin, and they threw everything at it. I finally got to see it today. I told you my feed went out for a while, so I got to see it. I originally had only seen part of it, and I was going to give it an A. After I seen the whole thing, A plus. Great match, great storytelling. I like the handshake at the end, but go ahead and run your synopsis of it.
I loved it. I loved the match. It was an old school match. Besides Darby doing a couple of dives on the outside, it was basically in the ring, holds, maneuvers. I thought it was great. There's not a grade high enough, A plus plus, and they graduated on up to college, I guess you could say.
Right.
Great match. I didn't care much about the handshake at the very end, and we know Mr. JC, he probably ain't gonna like it either. That, to me, that would be the only thing that he can talk bad about that match.
Probably.
But it was a great match. Probably one of the best matches I saw in a long, long time.
No interference, none.
Nothing.
Clean. And is CM Punk, just to go, I think Roman Reigns is the biggest star in wrestling right now.
Yeah.
He's on the biggest stage. Is CM Punk too?
I think so. I think he is. He's just been in for maybe 3 weeks now, and he's already moved up to number 2 because, you could.
We waited a long time.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to put into words what you just said. Waited a long time, and you could go to wrestling matches, you could watch it on TV, and you'd always hear a CM Punk chant, regardless of who it was, where it was at. You would always get probably one CM Punk chant, if not 2. You're over, dude. When they're chanting your name, you hadn't wrestled in 4, 5, 6, 7 years, wanting you to come back, you are over. They're not doing that for The Rock. They're not doing that for Cena. They're not doing that for Austin. CM Punk is over. He's probably the second most popular wrestler there is.
All right. Where does he go? Last subject, CM Punk. Where does he go next?
I think he wants to put somebody over, some of these younger guys over. So
Top younger guy would be, it's not Darby Allin, then it's Jungle Boy. Would you agree?
yeah, Jungle Boys, maybe a MJF feud somehow. MJF's over, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's over, but imagine a feud between MJF, CM Punk. How would that work out?
And by what happens later, I don't think CM Punk is immediately going to be thrust into the world title picture.
No.
Because next in the world title match, in a good match, not a great match, they call him the 7-star bout machine. Kenny Omega, I know, doesn't care for him, but I loved it. And Christian Cage is a great wrestler. They put together a good match. It goes about 20 minutes. Never once did I think that Kenny Omega was not going over. Is the only thing I didn't like about it. And maybe that's me knowing too much. Did you ever have a feeling, hey, Christian Cage could walk out of here with the world title?
No, because there were several matches like that tonight, Sunday night. You knew that CM Punk wasn't going to lose his first match. You knew that Omega wasn't going to lose either. You knew Miro wasn't going to lose, and you knew the Good Doctor wasn't going to lose. So there's about 4 matches that you knew the outcome. But, man, there were still such great matches. It was still great to watch. And on most of those, you still had a little doubt every once in a while. So that's how great these people were by putting some of these other people over.
Pretty cleanly, a little bit of interference. Mega wins, retains his world title. Did you like the finish? I thought the finish could have been better, but it is what it is.
Well, I'm going to agree with you because I really don't remember what the finish was because, as somebody says, the afterbirth was the highlight of the match.
All right. So, yes. And we have 5 minutes. If we go longer, that's okay. This one might take a minute. Kenny Omega gets the mic. Celebration going on. Jurassic Express hits the ring, and there's beat down too. Again, putting Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus in a big position. Omega is like, he tells them anybody that can beat him is retired, and uses the line, or dead already. Of course, when they put Adam Cole out of the Bullet Club, and also when they put Marty Scurll out of the Elite, for 1 second I thought, oh crap, it's Marty Scurll. When it comes on, the first thing that hits is Adam Cole's music, where it was a huge pop, man, for Adam Cole.
It was a tremendous pop, nearly as good as when CM Punk came back, as far as the loudness. Not as long.
It didn't go as
but
long,
the loudness.
But yeah.
It was.
Is Adam Cole, baby, over more with the indie crowd and the AEW crowd than he was in the WWE.
Yeah, because nobody in the WWE really knew who Adam Cole was because he never did make it up to the quote main roster. He was always he put it in baseball terminology. He was always that hitter that could destroy double A and triple A baseballs, but when he got up to the majors, he couldn't hit the balls. But
he was never given. The problem was he was never given a chance. I think he could have hit the ball in the majors. I think he could have been the biggest star on Raw or SmackDown.
VKM says he couldn't. So there you go.
Yeah, VKM also said the next guy we talked about couldn't either. He had to prove his own way that he could. So Adam Cole, baby, hits the ring, does his normal Adam Cole walks, and he starts going, do you remember what you guys did to me? And they were, when they kicked him out of the Elite to go to the Bullet Club to go to the WWE. It was the Bucks kicked him out with Omega's direction on a Ring of Honor show, which was kind of a legendary Ring of Honor a legendary Ring of Honor. And you should Google that. It's really good. So at first I'm like, okay, he's coming back to get revenge for them to kick him out of the Bullet Club. Then, and I think he's going to feud because of what happened next. And in his press conference with Tony Khan, the first name out of his mouth, he super kicks Jungle Boy. First person in the press conference, he talks about Jungle Boy. So I think Adam Cole, Jungle Boy, it's going to happen. And then
how about a mixed tag team match? Jungle Boy and Anna Jay against D.M.D. and Adam Cole.
Didn't think of that. Good booking, Howie. Bay. He kicks the Jurassic Express. The Young Bucks kiss him, literally. And Kenny Omega takes the mic and says, what do you think? Adam Cole is one of our closest friends. Crowd dies. Adam Cole goes, in his famous line, who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby? And they pop again. He's the heel, and they're popping all over the place.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he kind of stole the show from CM Punk a little bit.
So now he gets the mic again, and he goes even farther about, we're going home. And Omega goes to do his famous good night, good riddance. And about then, I think it's called Flight of the Icarus. I'm not sure. Plays, which is Daniel Bryan's old music from the WWE, but it's Bryan Danielson's music in AEW. I'm surprised they didn't use the term American Dragon, though. Comes out, and again, I think Cole stole a little of his pop, because the pop for Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson, not Daniel Bryan, wasn't as big as I thought it would be, but he makes his way down to the ring.
It was a pretty good size pop. I don't know, at least on what I could hear, it was a good size pop.
It was
maybe not as big as Cole. Maybe not as big as Cole, but it was a good size pop. And comes
into the ring, squares the ring off, and obviously they go at it. The Elite, Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Bryan Danielson go at it. And the good guys clear the ring. Bryan Danielson gets the mic and cuts, I thought, a really good promo real quick, basically saying, I think his tone was the same for the all night. CM Punk kind of said, I'm here to work for the new guys. Adam Cole said, I come from my friend. Bryan Danielson, in a wrestling move, goes, I'm kind of here to kick everybody's ass.
Yeah. Basically, in a nutshell, yeah, that's what he's here to do. So, and there's some great matches that can take place. I mean, great matches that can take place now.
We could go another hour just about that. What do you give the main event then?
The match, I give a B The afterbirth, they give an A+.
I give the match an A-. The afterbirth I give, or the aftermatch, I give an A++++++++. AEW, last question of the night. We've ran long. Is AEW, to me, with these additions, are now legitimately in place? I don't think it's no longer, could they be on TV next to NXT and win? I think you could put this, what you will, on Friday nights. I think AEW is going to be just fine against SmackDown.
AEW is here to stay. They're done playing games. They're here to make a name for themselves. And I've got a question for you real quick before we go off. Have you ever seen a show have as many debuts as this one here?
No, and they had to pop it because it is their WrestleMania. I thought they would keep at least one for Arthur Ashe, which now makes me wonder if there's somebody at Arthur Ashe coming.
Yeah, the Arthur Ashe thing is just something that I think I've came up with, saying somebody's got to be there. I don't think they've actually said that somebody's going to be there, but could it be going to show up there?
I listen to the press conference more than you do, where Tony Khan basically spends a couple of hours with the media. So did Adam Cole, done a 30-minute session. Bryan Danielson done a 30-minute session. Bryan Danielson's real interesting. I really think he's the first. I think Adam Cole, as soon as he knew his contract was up, which he didn't even know it was up when it was, he honestly admitted it was surprised. I think the moment he knew he was free, he was headed to AEW. I think Bryan Danielson struggled to the very last moment with the decision. I don't think he can compete in New Japan right now with the COVID situation. Yeah. But I think part of his plans is to have an American base at AEW, but to compete in AAA in Mexico, New Japan, and maybe even possibly go to Europe and do some stuff over there with, there's some big companies now coming in Europe. So I think Daniel Bryan is more like I think he wants to live out his last few years. I don't think it's a long-term career. I think his contract's probably a couple of years. I feel CM Punk's maybe 4 or 5 years. But it was really interesting. I'm very excited.
CM Punk is kind of up in age a little bit, but 7 years of no competing night in, night out and all that, he's got to feel refreshed.
At 42, he is at his prime to me. Adam Cole's only 32 years old. You think about his future.
Yeah, CM Punk, you got to look at 7 years not wrestling. That puts him kind of back at 35-ish, to a certain extent. But yeah, oh man, so many great matches and all that. We may have to come up with a special show of just fantasy booking of future AEW matches and see what happens.
If I have one that I want to see that's never been saw anywhere, it is Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson. I think wrestling-wise, that's even better than Kenny Omega and CM Punk, but we'll find out. Anything to close out the show for you tonight?
No, hope everybody had a great weekend, holiday weekend, and looking forward to get out and support your local teams this weekend. Everybody's in action, hopefully, this weekend as far as high school, college, and professionals, and good luck to everybody's teams. Well, the high school game of the week that we're kind of interested in is happening at Sylvania with Sylvania and Fife, the two coaches that was willing to get on here and talk to us. So I know you'll be looking forward to the schools. You'll be looking forward to the scores that I'll be sending you every chance to get. So, go out and support the youth of America.
I was on the phone with Jackson County tonight, who we play up around the Kentucky line, and I kept throwing hints at them. They already just canceled. So, anyway, for Howie Chaney, Randall Cunningham, Randall, the real show, and the Howie Chaney. Good night. God bless. And in the words of Kenny Omega, I bid you a fond adieu.